Hey everybody, welcome back. Last time I did a video, I talked about where I went back to doing a story for you guys. And I thought that maybe I would give you another one before Christmas. This story is entitled, One Nurse, One Car. Okay, so my fiance's daughter, for a little bit, was driving a black Hyundai Elantra. She really liked the car, but something happened to it and she needed another one. She called up one night, really stressed out, because she didn't have a way to get back and forth to Des Moines, where she worked as a nurse. So in the interim, she borrowed her grandmother's Oldsmobile Aurora. But she wanted to find a car for herself. So I took her to Des Moines, and we went to a couple of dealerships. We went to the Hyundai dealership, and the car that she wanted was a blue Hyundai Elantra with low miles on it. The problem is, she had $14,000 and only $14,000 to spend on a car. They had a car for about $13,700, but of course with title and tax, it ends up being more money, and she was really frustrated by that. So we went to a couple other dealerships, we looked around Des Moines, and I suggested why not go to the Toyota dealership, because she had had a Toyota Camry in high school and the beginning of college. Well, when we got there, we went to go look at some pre-owned cars. The guy took us to the lot where they had all of their used vehicles. We saw everything from a Toyota Echo to a Yaris to some Honda Civics, and we ended up seeing a red Hyundai Elantra. Now, I don't know if you guys know the term brand blind, but that can happen to certain people. You know, people who drive Chevys because my grandpa drove a Chevy, my dad drove a Chevy, I'm gonna drive a Chevy. I've known people who were true to that and actually wrote out the really bad years in the 90s for GM because their family drives Chevys, that's all they're gonna drive. I myself was actually brand blind for quite a while. Starting in 2001 when I got my very first Volvo 240. I went from that 240 to a 242 turbo, 245 diesel station wagon. I ended up with a 740, and then of course the 240 that I call turbo. I was brand blind. I drove as a daily a 97 Volvo 850 station wagon. So I understand the concept of wanting one vehicle and only that vehicle. So we looked at this red Elantra. We went on a test drive. She really liked it, but it was like $13,900. And with title and tax, she knew that she couldn't afford it. So she was incredibly stressed out after a day of looking for cars. So I told her to go on and get herself something to drink, and she did, and I went into the office of the gentleman who was showing us the cars. I told him that she really wanted the red Elantra, but she had $14,000 to spend. Title and tax, out the door, all she had was $14,000. And I told him that she was really stressed out and it would really help out if we could make a deal. Well, he talked to the manager at the dealership, and he was like, okay, $14,000, title, tax, everything out the door. So I ended up helping her to get a car for exactly what she had to spend. Now, she drove that car for quite a while until it had mechanical issues, and she got herself, what do you guess, a silver Hyundai Elantra. And she drove that car for quite a long time, and then unfortunately she had a car accident that totaled this Hyundai out. And again, she needed another car. She seems to be a little bit unlucky when it comes to owning vehicles. So I helped her again. We went to Des Moines, we looked at some different dealerships, and then we went to Sam's Riverside, which is a place that deals in auction cars. She found a black Hyundai Elantra, pretty loaded with features, pretty nice. And again, she spent what she had and not a dime more. Now, she drives that car every day back and forth to Des Moines. She's had it for quite a few years, had some transmission issues. She got that taken care of. And her goal is to drive this car long enough that she can at some point pass it on to her daughter when she gets to the right age. she takes care of all of the maintenance, make sure that it goes to the shop when it needs to, so I don't see a problem with that car lasting 200,000 miles. Now, when I talk about being brand blind, that can mean that you are attached to one model of car like she was. She knew she wanted a Hyundai, but she also wanted an Elantra. Well, I know people who are brand blind, meaning they only buy Toyotas, or they only buy Hondas, or they only buy Fords. Now, a lot of people who bought, GM or Chrysler back in the day because their grandparents did, unfortunately, the quality of those cars were so crappy that they ended up going over to Honda and Toyota. So I can totally understand that concept of wanting the same car. Now, I said this in my last video, but I want to thank everybody who's been rocking and watching the videos. Next year we have some things planned. We're going to go to some salvage yards, watch me do some maintenance work, and have some more stories. So I hope that if you guys are listening, you'll continue and let your friends know about the channel. All right, Merry Christmas.